Quansah was just brilliant. Like, absolutely
phenomenal.
I've just put his stats up here now. He's going from strength to strength as well for Liverpool, and the stats have literally disappeared as I said that. What are the chances of that? I'll tell you now, I know he made 7 clearances. I remember that one. 1 tackle. I think he had like an 89% pass accuracy as well. But let's talk about it more generally. I get the stats up as I'm going. Just outstanding. Like, since he's come into this Liverpool side, he looks just taking like a duck to water, really. He's like not been fazed by anything. That was a difficult night, in essence. Away from home against a Premier League opponent. Conditions were just horrendous, but just took it in his stride, didn't faze him. Not even used to the ball, anything. It was Solanke for a little bit. He stood him up once or twice and made him make a decision. Then Kiefer Moore comes on, real physical challenge, and Quansah's up to that as well. Just brilliant. And I've been so impressed with him every time we've asked him to do anything so far this year. And that was probably his best performance yet. And that's saying something given what he's done. There's a moment his positioning sort of called into question because he needs to be the right guy at the right time. And he is. He's deal with it in the 6-yard box, gets his header over the bar. Later on, he comes across to cut something else out. Just still, let you talk about him, mate. But what a performance from somebody so young as well, so mature.
I mean, before we went live with the show, you likened some of the aspects of his play to that of Joel Matip.
Mm-hmm.
I can also liken some of the aspects of his play to Virgil van Dijk with the physicality. So this relaxed attitude he's got, this relaxed persona he's got on the pitch, I think that comes from training with those guys where what is a crisis for everybody else is, don't worry, we've got this, and he's kind of got that mentality to him. Mm-hmm. Really pleased he didn't go away on loan. Really pleased he didn't do that. And big show of faith in that we let other defenders leave the club so he could stay. Nat Phillips being the obvious choice in that regard.
Williams as well.
Yeah, 100%. He's going to save us a lot of money in the future. You know, you pay 30, 40, 50 million for a good centre-back, and we've been talking about, let's get the one that can take the pressure off the other guys. Well, he's been doing that. He's been playing games. Virgil didn't play tonight, he did. Stick him alongside Matip. Now, Matip's not the most vocal guy, and he's not an organiser. He's just good. But what Quansah did tonight was sort out his own game and sort out his own decision-making. And for someone with such lacking in experience, some of the choices he makes and some of the decisions when to go and win the ball, some of the more senior players could learn from that. Canate has developed a real bad habit of diving in too far up the pitch. Mm-hmm. Don't see that from Quansah. Yeah. And what was really pleasing is he's dropping shoulders and going past men and stepping into midfield with the ball, and that's the Matip thing that you speak about. The future for this kid is, where is his ceiling at this moment? We really don't know. I'm always a bit reluctant to go overboard because we've seen so many young players come through as centre-backs and we think this is the one, you know. Right now he's doing, like you said, everything we could ever want him to do and a little bit more. Mm. The coaching staff must be absolutely made up with him. He's a genuine option to play in games of football now, irrespective of the opposition. Mm. And for someone so young and so inexperienced to do that bodes really, really well for the future, and he's not making mistakes and he's not having a difficult time of things at the moment. You often talk about centre-backs and they learn from difficult periods. Undoubtedly he'll have one, but it hasn't happened yet. And as far as starts go in the Liverpool first team, playing as a centre-back in a side that, because of the way we play in midfield, will give you chances, he's stood up and been counted every single time. So man of the match for me. And I'm struggling not to give him anything less than a 9, because in the second half the conditions are absolutely appalling, and he stood up to every single one of them.
Yeah, I think we'd all be in agreement with sort of the number there. He's man, the fact he's man of the match. You know what I mean? Honestly, I thought he was outstanding. I've got the stats back up. Obviously, he plays the whole game. Was 7 clearances, 1 tackle, won 4 out of his 6 ground duels as well, and 114 touches. Because it wasn't just a defensive sort of qualities that he showed, it was the ball carrying, the passing, his use of the footy as well. I thought he was just outstanding from start to finish. I really did, in what were very trying circumstances, very testing conditions for anyone, let alone a defender, to sort of deal with against the side that at times during the game fancied the chances a little bit, you know what I mean? And Quansah was like, no, not today. And Steve references it there. Jamie, I'll come to you. Steve says, like, he's got bags and bags of potential, but not just that. He's got bags and bags of quality. He can do it now, can't he? He is a genuine option for the Liverpool Football Club right now. That's not to say he should start the next 3, 4, 5 Premier League games. Of course, not all Manchester City in a few weeks' time or whatever it may be, but he's part of this first team now, and it's a bit of a shock because I'm putting together a show right now on him. I'm speaking to the Bristol Rovers people who knew him really well. He played 16 games for Bristol Rovers the back end of last season, and that's it. And all of a sudden, he's part of Liverpool's first team. It's mad.
Yeah, Liverpool tend to do this with like the young centre backs. Obviously, we brought Reece Williams back from Kidderminster, was it, and then kind of threw him into the first team. Klopp and the coaching staff obviously trust him, and from what I've seen, I've been really impressed with him, and I feel like he's got a bit of everything, and we saw it kind of in snippets all the way through today's game as well. We saw him kind of bringing the ball out from the back like Matip. We saw a little bit of Nat Phillips in there where we were saying where on the touchline where
signature Cruyff turn.
Exactly. Yes. So like the ball came over the top as Bournemouth was pumping the balls long. He took the ball down, controlled it under pressure, and brought it back out on a turn. You had him standing attackers up, making them make the decision and blocking the passes, blocking the crosses, blocking the shots, and you had him kind of coming across it was Matip on that occasion to sweep the ball out of play when Bournemouth actually got in behind us one time. And I think you had headers away as well, just to add that into the mix. And I think that's an all-round package. And if we don't want to get kind of carried away, but as Steve mentioned, he could save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I'm very excited to see how it goes. Klopp's obviously going to manage his minutes. I think he does that really well. And I don't think there's going to be any issue with Quansah. It's
interesting to know that, and I've just asked a Discord chat, fully enough, while we were talking there, like who their man of the match was, timely, because I knew it'd be Quansah. And LFC Mav has said Quansah, Titch Green, likewise Quansah, and Joseph 9926 Quansah, and described him as a young Virgil. And a couple of you guys have sort of mentioned the Virgil van Dijk comparison. I get it. I mentioned earlier on, there's a moment whereby they're countering and he just kind of jogs alongside the attack and goes, I'm going to wait for you to do what you want to do. I don't need to make a decision here. And as soon as he does, he's on it straight away. So that's very Virgil-esque. I do see the Matip stuff. I really do. I've mentioned I watched him in the young game and 21's game, and he played on the right-hand side, and I feel like if he wanted to, he could have played the other. Just the way he carries the ball out and he uses it, that's just Matip to me. But the fact we're even having these conversations about somebody like Jarell Quansah is mental and really good. They both so well. So I'm really excited for his future. Really, really excited. And it is early days, of course it is. But I think we've got a little gem here, really do. And somebody's been at Liverpool for a long time. I think he's been there since like 6 or 7. So he's got the club in his blood. You know what I mean? So we should be happy.
This is what we say about the next generation. The youth players learning from the senior players above him. You can see in his game aspects of the things that Virgil does, and he's clearly paid attention and learned. And he's clearly done the same thing from Matip. He's in the best possible environment to make the most of his talent, and he's doing that. It's not all potential anymore. Now it is quality, and if he times it right and he stays on this upward trajectory, he could potentially stop us needing to buy a direct replacement for Virgil when the time comes. As in, we can diversify our defence a little bit and not need all of those qualities that Virgil has, because he's so rare as a player. We don't need to replace all of his attributes, only some of his attributes, as it were. So potentially he could be what we build our defence around for
that's bold.
For the next for the next Liverpool team after this one, as it were.
I think we still buy one.
There's your title.
Oh no, we still need defenders. Don't get me wrong.
But I think he's Matip's replacement. I just do. And no one's wrong in any of this conversation. No, I think that's something different. I think in terms of the squad, because I think Quansah's going to be ready to start every game next year. I don't think we'll quite be there yet. But Matip, the reason I say it is because Matip's going at the end of the season, so I think Quansah just steps up the pecking order. Personally,
I think we bring another one in, and he vies with Joe Gomez for that Carabao Cup.
Will the other one be the left-sided one though, potentially?
If it's the guy Inchcapi from Leverkusen, But we talked about during the game that side of the defender should be able to spot danger on the left back position as well. I think it was you that mentioned it. Playing in a back three, or the left side of a back three, you have to be all those things. So that's a ready-made fit, and that solves a little bit of the Andy Robertson looks so out of place when we move across. So potentially there's cover there as well. So I think, whilst we're sitting here and we're giving him his plaudits and he deserves them, I think there will be a case where we buy another one and he takes another year to 2 years to grow into what we hope he would be. Because you just made the point, Dan, he played 16 games. So he's now played, 20 games, including substitute performances. That, whilst it's nice that the club don't have a problem turning to him, and clearly they do it without thinking, it's dangerous to put so much pressure on a young man at that stage. Absolutely. So I think You know, Gomez is of a certain age. He's not young, he's not old, he's kind of 28, 29. That's who he's going to be up against, vying for opportunities to play. If we go out and spend 40, 50 million pound on one, then that's the guy that will take the pressure off Van Dijk and Konate when they need to. This is going to be if you look at Phil Foden's integration into Manchester City, when they needed to bring him on, they brought him on. When they needed to play games, he played games. He didn't overdo it. They managed that. I don't like giving them any credit for anything for obvious reasons, but they got that right.
Yeah.
And it's important we get his introduction into the side from an hour here and 20 minutes there in the odd Carabao Cup to actually giving him belief that he's a potential starter at some point in the future. So it's a work in progress. And for me, as good as tonight was, there's a lot of work to do to get him to where he needs to be first name on the team sheet at the centre half berth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe we need to temper our expectations. But having said all that, he is the next Maldini.